And next up, we've got Circus of Wishes by Eddie Mead.
Hello, everybody. First of all, before we get started, my name is Eddie, and I wanted to say thank you to everyone who came out to support us all tonight. It really means the absolute world to all of these amazing projects. Next slide, please. So let's get into my project, which is called Circus of Wishes. It is estimated to be about a 30-minute musical short film. I say estimated. It started at 20 minutes and now it's 30 minutes. It may end up being longer. Um, it is going to be a musical short film, and in the style of old Disney Broadway music. I refer to it as a teen whimsical dark fantasy. I think that animation made for teens is largely overlooked as an age range and a subgenre, and I want to make something that is made specifically for a younger audience, but also a more mature audience. It will be traditionally 2D animated by an indie animation team in Toon Boom Harmony and After Effects. It is currently self-funded through pre-production with a crowdfund campaign planned to support the animation. I am currently I'm working with a songwriter, a composer, a environment artist, and a character designer, and we are working through the pre-production stage of this film. And as we continue on with our work, we will be sharing it on our social media and keeping you updated on the progress. Filmmaking is exciting, so why keep it a secret? Next slide, please. All right, so for the story. After a disappointing audition for her school play, 15-year-old Sadie stumbles across a magical circus hidden away in a dark alley. The circus ringmaster, a genie-like being named Mordecai Whimsy, offers her the spotlight she craves and an audience that will cheer just for her. But as she finds her place on the circus stage, Mordecai's previous protege, Percy, starts to become jealous of her attention as Mordecai's shiny new plaything. Sadie begins to unravel the dark secrets behind the curtain of this otherworldly theater, and the young performers quickly learn that if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Next slide. So, the inspiration for this film. It's very visually inspired by carnivals, circus tents, Broadway theaters. It's also inspired by liminal spaces. If you don't know what a liminal space is, it's sort of this eerie, in between space that just doesn't quite feel right. There's something that's not quite right about this circus. I compare it in story tone to stories like Coraline, Tim Burton films, and your favorite charismatic villain songs in Disney films. I don't know about you guys. I think that the villain songs in Disney films are my absolute favorite part of the movie, and I never really want them to end, so I want to continue that sort of feeling with throughout this film. It's also very inspired by musical theater, and I believe that musical theater and animation go hand in hand. It's been a while since we've had a 2D animated Broadway style musical, and I would like to create a project that pays homage to those Disney Renaissance films. Next, please. So let's talk about the characters. Our main character is Sadie. She is an ambitious 15-year-old who wants to be a Broadway performer, a famous movie star, a singer, a novelist, all at the same time. She's at that age where she feels that she can take on the world and do everything at once. She's clever, genuine, and has a compassionate heart, but doesn't have time for nonsense. Her constant drive to pursue her dreams leads her to the circus, but does her desire for the spotlight blind her to the dangers lurking in the shadows? Next. Our secondary main character is Percy. He's an 18-year-old juggler and stereotypical theater kid. While Sadie is motivated by her desire for success, Percy is driven by his dread of failure. The circus is a safety net for him. As long as he performs and does as he's told, he gets the applause and the attention that he craves. While Sadie was a little bit inspired off of me when I was young and wanted to take on the whole world, and I felt like I could do everything yesterday, Percy is inspired by me when I was a teenager, where I started to become a little bit more insecure in sharing my art. He can be uptight and jealous, but deep down, Percy is far more vulnerable than he lets on. Mordecai weaponizes Percy's self doubt against him, and Percy will have to face the challenge of learning how to value himself without Mordecai before it's too late. Next, please. In the film, we will be meeting other performers as well. Roxanne in the pink, Riley there in the yellow, and Thomas in the orange. Each play a supporting role and help Sadie on her adventure. There's also a few characters that we're not quite ready to reveal just yet, but hopefully we'll be able to soon. Next, please. Last but certainly not least is the all powerful ringmaster of the circus, Mordecai Whimsy. Charming, comedic, and confident, Mordecai is a natural showman. Mordecai promises young artists the world, giving them the stage and the spotlight that they crave. But beneath the cheery facade and flashy magic show, Mordecai has a darker fate in mind for his new performers. Mordecai is the classic villain of our story. He's delightfully manipulative and flamboyantly evil. You don't want him to win, but he puts on a hell of a show. Next, please. Circus of Wishes. So talking about the themes a little bit, Circus of Wishes digs deep into the insecurities that artists face. It's about the pressure that Sadie puts on herself and the need for validation that Percy struggles with. It's about how Mordecai's manipulation pits them against each other. Mordecai himself is a metaphor for corporate abuse of young artists and their passion. He sucks the life and creativity out of these young, starry eyed creatives, the circus draining them of the colors that make them unique until only shadow remains. The more the performers give into these cycles of self doubt, the more powerful the ringmaster and his circus becomes. Unfortunately, I think this theme may resonate with a lot of people who are, in animation or just in art in general. There's a struggle between wanting your art to be seen by the world and shared, and the idea of people potentially taking advantage of your passion. So I hope that this film will be meaningful to people. Next slide, please. So, how can you support? You can keep up with the film at Circus of Wishes on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. We would love to show you more of the film as we make progress. Something that's very important to me, I'm very passionate about just filmmaking in general, so I want to share my perspective and my process and share behind the scenes of the amazing art that my team is helping me make. Um, Engaging online helps us out a lot as well. Let us know what you think or share something using the hashtag Circus of Wishes. And for anything that we post, if you have any questions or, please feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to answer your questions about filmmaking or indie animation or just about the story in general. You can also support the film on places like Patreon or Coffee. On Patreon, we will be posting spoilers. Um, it, for this film, we are having the first act of the film be free reign. We're going to be posting that publicly and sharing that with you. But second, the second 2/3 of the film, we're going to be keeping on our Patreon for spoiler content. It is absolutely never required, but it is always appreciated. And last but not least, you can support other indie projects in the community. Um, and Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to ask. And if we don't have time to get to everything today, you can always message me on my socials, edmeadart, or at Circus of Wishes. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for your time.